Hotep, peace, konnichiwa, muy bien. The reason why the screen is covered is because I'm getting death threats. I have people threatening my life. And one thing I want to talk about as being a direct descendant of pygmies and being a Moor. Nobody really talks about the flip side of being a Moor. As a Moor, we are blamed constantly for the civilizing of the Europeans. So, as a result of the Moors civilizing the Europeans, um, when they ruled Europe, as a Moor, um, there are institutions and organizations that are teaching to uh, keep us disenfranchised. And as a Moorish woman, they are taught to uh, take advantage of us and to keep us down. So we often talk about some of the great things that the Moors have done, not just in Europe, but they have done all across the planet. But as a result of some of the things that the Moors done have done in the past, uh, they say the sins of the parents shall fall upon the heads of the children. So we are the children. I am a seed, and as a result of um, them civilizing all over the planet, but specifically the Europeans, um, we are, um, especially as women, they are teaching to take advantage of us and to keep us disenfranchised. And those who do not want to submit to um, this type of life, um, there are consequences. I'm not even going to really begin to get into my passport being revoked. But there is a flip side to being of Moorish descent in America. Okay, so we need to be clear about that, and be honest about it. I've received several death threats, and one of the things that I began to discuss was polygamy. And I talked about my husband being allowed to have as many wives as Solomon. And, you know, polygamy is something that is smiled upon depending upon, who's practicing and your geographical location, obviously. But um, as a result of that, I have received a lot of threats. I have people knocking on my door. Um, and it really runs deep. As a Moorish woman, um, I have had my life almost destroyed. I mean, everything snatched away from me. All right. And even with the nothing, even with the nothing, that's still not good enough. So, um, that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video is because, we talk about some of the great things that the Moors have done. And I have people that have made great contributions to American history. I too have attempted to make great contributions. Um, in the evolution of a productive America. But as a result of being of Moorish descent, there is a disdain and a bitterness towards Moors because it's taught that Moors were responsible for civilizing the Europeans, but the Moors were responsible for going around and civilizing all over the entire planet, not just in one specific geographical location. Okay, so when the story is given in bits and pieces, or there is a sense of omission, um, you know, that creates a rift and it creates a problem. But as I stated, being a woman of Moorish descent, you have, and one thing I want you all to understand, being a woman of Moorish descent, and as a and, as far as your genetics goes, um, and the sad part is there are women who are of Moorish descent who are clueless, who do not really know a lot about their history, which is the way I was initially. I wasn't taught by my family, you know, who the Moors were. I wasn't raised, on how the Moors had civilized all over the planet. Those things that I learned later on in life. But there are men and women of Moorish descent, and as a result of their genetic makeup, there are people who are going to attempt to, be a part of their lives. Okay, and the reason why is one thing they want is the DNA. They want to, they want a part of, they want to intermingle and interbreed with that DNA that you have. So you have to understand how important universal sequential engineering is, and how important your DNA and your genetic makeup and your genetic classification is. So those are some of the things that I also talked about in my previous videos. But but as a result of your gene pool and your genetic makeup, you will have, that there are things that can happen. As far as um, people attempting to uh, interbreed and intermingle because of your genetic makeup. So one thing we need to get understood as definitely as of Moorish descent, there are all types of obstacles that will be placed in your way because you are of Moorish descent. Okay, and these obstacles are placed in your way, and um, you know, it is the intent to keep you disenfranchised because of the Moors civilizing the Europeans. So, on the flip side of the Moors civilizing all over the planet and all of these contributions that they have made, we have people making videos about some of the things that the contributions that Morris have made all throughout the planet. But on the flip side of those videos that are being and these things that are being talked about and the contributions, on the flip side of that, you have those who are being, persecuted because they're Moors. Okay. You have people, being punished because they civilized the Europeans. For over 700 years, um, they ruled the Iberian Peninsula. So um, there are people who are very angry about that, and some of the anger is definitely justified when you look at colonization across the planet. Okay, when you look at some of the colonization that has happened and some of the atrocities that that have gone on across the planet, the anger to and the bitterness is a sense of it is justified to a certain degree because there were things that have happened as a result of that. When we talk about the transatlantic slave trade, when we talk about some of the wars that have happened, some of the starvation that has gone on, a lot of how history has evolved. Um, um, and many people blame the Moors specifically. And some of these people who blame the Moors don't just blame them in their minds, they go out, they look for people who have the Moorish name they have, or of Moorish descent, and they search for these type of people. They intermingle and breed with these people, and then they use the children of and attempt to destroy people's lives. Okay, we're not even going to get into insurance policies. We're not going to get into land, and it's a whole nasty, nasty, nasty bitterness. Okay, soulless bitterness. Let's say that soulless bitterness as a result of the Moors civilizing the Europeans. So let's not make it, the Moors did some great things, but on the flip side of that, there are, people who go out purposely looking for Moors and looking for Moors, and the purpose of them looking for them is to punish them, okay, for the more civilizing the Europeans. So I want to make it clear there are great things and beautiful things that the Moors have done from one geographical location to another. But at the same token, there are a lot of people who are angry and bitter and harbor um, bitterness towards anyone of Moorish descent that won't submit to their belief, to their way of life. Okay. And if you do not submit to their way of life, you know, they punish you, you know, they persecute you. So I just want to make that clear. Um, that is one of the reasons why I have my screen covered. Like I said, I'm getting the feeling like um, they don't want me to make videos. Um, They don't want me to promote some of the teachings that I have learned, um, and some of the studies and research that I have done. Maybe they want to pretend as if I don't know, but the bottom line is, being a Moor. Let me make it clear. Maybe that's what they want me to do. Let me make it clear. Being of Moorish descent, we have people who want to promote self hatred. They want us to hate ourselves because of, some of the things that have happened throughout history. They want us to hate ourselves and they promote for us to hate ourselves as Moors. But I have a very high level of self confidence and I know that I am a Nubian queen, okay, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't care what anyone says, okay. Um, and another thing I wanted to say is you have a lot of, and one thing I want to say is, when it comes down to some of the stuff that's going on right now, some of our women, I'm not trying to be funny, I'm just being real. Some of our women, instead of listening to some of these people who promote self-hatred and promote you to feel less than yourself, or to tell you you have to compete with a white woman or any woman for that matter. Anybody that points to another person and tells you that you need to look at that person and see how that person you need to be more like that person, that is the type of person that you should run away from. Okay? Love yourself. Love you and who you are. Don't let anybody tell you that you need to look outside of yourself and look at somebody else. Okay? People that give you or perpetuate that mindset, trying to bedazzle the masses with that slick talking, you need to get away from that and run away from that. Okay? You got to see the beauty within yourself. Okay? That's the first thing you have to do. All right. And like I said, anybody that tells you gotta look at the model of somebody else and telling you that you haven't done enough to prove your love to the black man, and you in a situation where you over there struggling as a single mom with 2 and 3 children, and you got 2 or 3 baby daddies, or you got one baby daddy, and it doesn't matter if you have proved your love and a person does not that doesn't appreciate you. You should listen to don't listen. Sometimes you got to listen to your ancestors that's dead. Listen to Tupac. If he don't learn it, if he can't learn to love you, just leave him alone. Okay? It's real simple. Listen to Tupac. Some of these people telling you some of these things, anything to get you to look, anything to get a like, anything to get a view, anything to get you to give them some attention that they are lacking in their life. Listen to sometimes you got to listen to people who are no longer here. Sometimes you can hear the spirits from the dead talking. If the person can love to learn you, just leave them alone. You don't gotta look and have to be like this person over here. Don't oh you need to be more like this person, or you need to be more like that person. You need to be more like her. You don't have to be like her. If the person can't love you for who the fuck you are, pack your bags and get the hell off. And don't look back. Okay? Because you can't be but who you are. Okay? That's all I'm saying. All right. You gotta, some of us, we listen and looking at these videos, you gotta be careful who you follow. Okay? You got to be like water and create your own path. All right? Because some people just talking just to get a view out you. Some people just flapping their lips just to get a like or to get a donation. So, like I said, I mean, this is was to promote and to make you understand the flip side of being of Moorish descent. The flip side of being more of Moorish descent is the self hatred that is promoted as a result of the civilizing of the Europeans. There is a sense of promotion of self hatred. You're supposed to hate yourself because you are. I didn't enslave anyone. I didn't go and civilize anybody, but because of my genetic makeup, I'm the one who's gonna have to bear the burden, the crucifixion. I'm the one who's gonna have to walk. I got to walk with the cross on my back. See, that's why I make videos about the crucifixion of the great mother. We always talk about the things that our men suffer, but we don't talk about like people like Mammy Till and the things that the mother and the women have to suffer. Okay. It's always, oh, you don't love the black man enough. I mean, how you got now we got to prove ourselves. We got to lay down and fight. We got to get out here and fight and lay down and put our lives on the line just to prove that we love the black man. Some of the stuff that is perpetuated and some of the things I hear is ridiculous. And it's more like pimp slick talking. Anything to get a dollar out you know. So all I'm saying, I don't care if you're a single mother, I don't care if you're a single woman, I don't care if you're a woman with multiple children. The bottom line is, first of all, you got to love yourself. And if a person can't love you for who you are, being who you are, let them get on. Because I don't know one person on the planet that will engage in a relationship that ain't never had some form of traumatic experience, something that they have been through. So to expect to get into a relationship with somebody that has never been through anything in life is a total illusion. For if you married to a person that's been in the military, they done been to war. They could have done been to war. You don't know what that into the person you get in, and then you begin to see. So, these fake, I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to word it, but it's ridiculous. It's so many other things to be focused on, you know, but we focusing on, and like I said, now while I'm receiving the death threats, somebody out was out there preparing an attack and then shot up people. Now, while I'm receiving death threats and being constantly harassed, somebody out there actually perpetuating terrorism. I'm supposed to hate who I am because of my genetic makeup. And my ancestors are there. I've shown forth and proved and taught me to love and love who I am and to know thyself and to know who I am. I just, it's really sad. And when you begin to bring forth solutions to some of the problems, then you become the problem. So, I mean, uh, as I stated, you know, to some of my women, be careful out there. That's all I can tell you. Because, just be careful. You know, at a young age, I didn't know, I wasn't taught at a young age who I didn't, I, at a, I never thought that there were people that were going around and getting involved in relationships with the person because of their genetic makeup or because of, their last name and stalk you, harass your life, destroy it from one from one social media site to another. I ain't killed nobody. It's people out here actually killing people. All I did was post alive, So, um, like I said, the flip side of being a Moorish descent, you know, um, that's why I stay, to myself. I don't become a part of these various organizations. I don't really, you just, kind of sit back and absorb it and just, look at it all. But as I stated before, the constant death threats, subliminal messages. So, with that being said, um, just understand, sometimes you might wonder why you going through what you going through, but sometimes, you're going through it because you come from um, a certain genetic makeup. Okay, so we got to be careful out here. So here we go. So I'm not lying. More calls from strange numbers. So yeah, you know, as I stated, being of Moorish descent, they want you to hate yourself. They want you to dislike who you are. They want you to look down or not, have a high level of self confidence, not seeing the natural, beautiful you. Okay. Um, so you have to understand that there is a flip side to being of Moorish descent. I'm constantly getting death threats. So, Hotep,